And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Duplex is very proud to present Dick Goldsmith.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you could use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float off to Peru. In Llama Land, there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute for you. Come fly with me, let's float off to the blue. Once I get you up there where the air is rarefied, we will glide starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You may hear angels cheer, 'cause we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a lovely day. Just say the words and we'll beat the birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Once I get you up there where the air is rarefied, we will glide starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You may hear angels sing, 'cause we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a lovely day. Just say the words and we'll beat the birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Thank you. Welcome to Dick Goldsmith Hits the Road. It's a show about going to different places and traveling. And travel, they say, improves the mind. An irritating platitude, which frankly, entre nous, is very far from true. Personally, I've yet to find that longitude and latitude can educate those scores of monumental bores who travel in groups and herds and troops of various breeds and sexes till the whole world reels from shouts and squeals and the clicking of Rolleiflexes. Why do the wrong people travel, and the right people stay back home? What compulsion compels them, and who the hell tells them to drag their bags to Zanzibar instead of staying quietly in Omaha? The Taj Mahal and the Grand Canal and the sunny French Riviera would be less oppressed if the Middle West would settle for somewhere rather nearer. Please do not think that I criticize or cavil any genuine urge to roam. But why, oh, why do the wrong people travel when the right people stay back home and mind their business? Why the right people stay back home with television? Why the right people stay back home? I'm merely asking why the right people stay back home. Just when you think romance is right, it rather sharply dawns on you that each sweet serenade is for the tourist trade. Any exotic native type who resolutely fawns on you will have as her address American Express. There isn't a rock between Bangkok and the beaches of Hispaniola that does not recoil from suntan oil and the gurgle of Coca-Cola. So why do the wrong people travel, and the right people stay back home? What explains this mass mania to leave Pennsylvania and clack around like flocks of geese, demanding dry martinis on the Isle of Greece. In the smallest street where the gourmets meet, they invariably fetch up. And it's hard to get them to accept a steak that isn't served charred and smeared with ketchup. Millions of people are churning up the gravel when they stare at St. Peter's Dome. But why, oh why do the wrong people travel when the right people stay back home and eat hot donuts? When the right people stay back home with all that lettuce, why the right people stay back home? I often wonder why the right people stay back home. Why do the wrong people travel, travel, travel when the right people stay back home? What peculiar obsession inspires these processions of families from Houston, Texas, with all those cameras around their necks? They will take a train or an airplane for an hour on the coast of Brava, and they'll see Pompeii on the only day it's up to its ass in molten lava. Please do not think that I criticize or cavil any impulse to make them wrong. But why, oh why do the wrong people travel when the right people stay back home and play canasta? Why the right people stay back home? Won't someone tell me why the right people stay back home? So why a show about traveling in places? I've always had a travel bug as far back as I can remember, and I think it comes from my mom, who used to travel a lot when I was little. And not very often to exotic places. You know, she would fly out to Pittsburgh and work the day, and then she'd get on the bus and go to Detroit and work the day, and get on the bus and go to Cincinnati and work a day. And at the end of the week, she'd get home. But she was always on the road. But she did go to some exotic places as well. I remember she went twice to Australia, and she made some nice summer trips when we were in summer camp. And I think hearing about all those trips and everything got me excited about traveling. So that's why we're talking about traveling and going to different places tonight. And I thought we'd start here in the good old US of A. And I thought what better place to start than right smack in the middle, economically and geographically. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one. I'll be standing on the corner, 12th Street and Vine. Yeah, I'll be standing on the corner, 12th Street and Vine. With my Kansas City woman and my bottle of Kansas City wine. Why? 'Cause everything's up to date in Kansas City. They gone about as far as they could go. They went and built the skyscraper 7 stories high, about as high as a building ought to grow. Everything's like a dream in Kansas City. It's better than a magic lantern show. With every kind of comfort, every house is all complete. You can turn the radiator on whenever you want some heat. You can walk to privies in the rain and never wet your feet. They've gone about as far as they could go.
Yes, sir!
They've gone about as far as they could go. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. They've gone about as far as they could go. They have a big theater they call a Burley Q. For 50 cents you can see a dandy show. One of the girls was fat and pink and pretty, as round above as she was round below. I could swear that she was padded from her shoulders to her heels. But later in the second act, when she began to peel, she proved that everything she had was absolutely real. She went about as far as she could go.
Yes, sir!
She went about as far as she could go. So, I'm going Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. They got a crazy way of loving there, and I'm gonna get me some. They got a crazy way of loving there, and I'm gonna get me some. So, was there something I said? Deanie, are you still awake? Deanie, are you still awake? Okay.
I'm drinking martinis then, huh?
So that's the middle of the country, and I thought maybe we'd hit the coast. You know, there's something alluring always about traveling to the coast. You tell people you're going on a trip to Chicago, oh, have fun. You go into the coast, it's exciting. And I'm sure it's true whether it's on the East Coast going west, or people on the West Coast say, I'm going to the coast, they meet here, or maybe they say, I'm heading east. Whatever it is, there's always a little something about it. Well, back in the 60s, there was a group of folks running around called hippies, who all found their way out to San Francisco. And here's a little song to remember that by. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're gonna meet some gentle people there. For those who go to San Francisco, summertime will be a-lovin' there. In the streets of San Francisco, gentle people with flowers in their hair. All across the nation, there's a strange vibration, people in motion. There's a whole generation with a new explanation, people in motion. People in motion. For those who come to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. In the streets of San Francisco, summertime will be a-lovin' there. Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. Thank you. So, no, I don't need that right now. My first long-distance trip, I was about 13 years old. Great mustache. I was about 13 years old, and we were going down to Florida over Christmas. And we were flying on National Airlines. Anybody remember National Airlines? You know, on Peggy, fly me. On Carol, fly me. You know. So we get to the airport at Kennedy Airport, and it's a mob scene as can only be just before Christmas. That really hasn't changed, except there were no security lines. But the mob scene was caused because we still had paper tickets. Remember paper tickets, and you had a different stub for each leg of your journey, right? So we hand our tickets to the ladies, finally our turn, and with that, every phone in the terminal rings. So all the agents pick up their phones. The airport is closed for the night. Dense fog. So we went home, we called back to National, and they said, oh, yeah, we can get you there in about 3 weeks, which really wasn't going to do much for our Christmas vacation. So I think it was my brother-in-law, Ed, who had the idea, why don't we see if we can take the train? So he called up whoever it was you called back then. There was no Amtrak yet, I don't think. And the next morning at 10:30, we left from Penn Station on the Silver Meteor. And it was a 26-hour trip. And it was really a very nice, long, and comfortable, luxurious ride, even sitting in coach. And, you know, it sort of brings back a certain, well, you know, it's not the kind of ride you get on the Long Island Railroad or Metro North or any of those, even the Amtrak and Metro line these days, the Acela. But this was just a certain comfort. And I think it brings back to some of us some fun memories. I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. I passed a shadowy lane and I thought about you. You go home and grab your scanties, I'll go home and grab my panties, and away we'll go. Ooh, off we're gonna shuffle, shuffle off to Buffalo. To Niagara in the sleeper, there's no honeymoon that's cheaper, and the train goes slow. Ooh, off we're gonna shuffle, shuffle off to Buffalo. One day the stork will pay a visit and leave a little souvenir, just a little cute. What is it? But we'll discuss that later, dear. For a little silver quarter, we can have the Pullman porter turn the lights down low. Ooh, off we're gonna shuffle, shuffle off to Buffalo. Do you hear that whistle down the line? I figure that it's engine number 49. She's the only one that'll sound that way on the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe. Do you see that smoke rising round the bend? I bet you that she knows she's gonna meet a friend. Folks around these parts get the time of day from the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. Pardon me, boys, is that the Chattanooga choo-choo? Track 29, or you can give me a shine. I can afford to take the Chattanooga choo-choo. I got my fare, and just a trifle to spare. You leave a Pennsylvania station at 3:45, read a magazine, and then you're in Baltimore. Dinner in the diner, nothing could be finer than to have your ham and eggs in Carolina. When you hear the whistle blow and 8 to the bar, then you know that Tennessee is not very far. Shovel all the coal in, gotta keep it rolling. Woo, woo. Chattanooga, there you are. Chattanooga, 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 Chattanooga choo-choo. Why don't you choo-choo me home? You know, that reminds me about something I heard on NPR the other day. Thank you, thank you. I was listening to NPR the other day, which I do a lot in the morning and in the car, and I heard this story about a passenger train that was going across the country. And, you know, one of those trains, you know, we have 2 big engines on the front of it, and they're out in the middle of nowhere in this country, which there still are a couple of places like that, and one of the engines dies. And the engineer thinks, well, I have another one, we're okay. So, sure enough, about 15 minutes later, the second engine dies, and the train rolls to a halt. So, of course, everybody's wondering what's going on. And then they hear the engineer get on the PA system, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little problem here with the engines, but I've got bad news and good news. The bad news is we're going to be stuck here for a little while until they can send another engine out to pull us in. The good news is that you decided to take the train and not fly. riding on the city of New Orleans. Illinois Central, Monday morning ran. 15 cars and 15 restless riders. 3 conductors and 25 sacks of men. All along the southbound Odyssey, the train pulls out of Kankakee, rolls along past houses, farms, and fields, passing towns that have no names, graveyards full of freight yards full of old black men, and graveyards of rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are ya? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train from the city of New Orleans. On a 500 miles when the day is done. Playing cards with the old man in the club car. Penny a point, ain't no one keeping score. Pass the paper bag that holds the bottle. Feel the wheels rumbling beneath the floor. Well, the sons of Pullman porters and the sons of engineers ride their father's magic carpets made of steel. Mothers with their babes asleep are rocking to the gentle beat, and the rhythm of the wheels is all they feel. Good morning, America, how are ya? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Nighttime on the city of New Orleans. Changing cars in Memphis, Tennessee.